Hi guys, this is Niki Rowland and today I have a layout for Hip Kit Club. It's my first layout as part of the new term, so we have lots of new people join the team, so how exciting, and they'll be making loads and loads of fabulous new creations, so make sure you check them all out. So I am making a layout for Cut File Tuesday today, and that means that I have to use a cut file. So we as a design team have access to the August cut files, even though at the moment they are not on the shop available for download. They will be there very, very soon, so do keep checking. Hopefully they'll be there by the time this video goes live, but at the time of recording this voiceover they're not there, but they will be soon, and they're worth the wait. They're really cool. They go really well with the August kits. So I'm using this hexagon background cut file. I've cut it out in the dark navy cardstock that we had in the August Cardstock Kit. I love using cut files. I'm always looking for more interesting ways to use them than just to cut them in white. That works well for lots of things, and that's my default, but sometimes I try and push myself to cut them in a different colour, sometimes pattern paper or sometimes a different coloured cardstock, just to give a bit of contrast really. So you can see the cut file there. It's really cool. I've decided that I'm going to use it against a purple background. My goodness, I'm doing lots of things outside of my comfort zone today, and it's called Wisteria, I think, and that was part of the cardstock kit too. So I've used that as my background, and I have got my navy cut file cut out, and now I'm just spending some time backing all of the hexagons. Now it's slightly more challenging than normal because they overlap, so you have to be kind of careful about the way you do it. I was careful the way I stuck my hexagons down where I put my glue, so that I could then tuck the next pattern over the top of the other one if I wanted to. So I wanted to leave myself that option. So I was just careful about where I use my glue, and then at the end I kind of add some regular sellotape over the back just to secure it all in place, because it ended up being not stuck in quite a few places. So yeah, anyway, that's I've used a lot of the journaling cards to do that. I also used papers from the August kit, so you can see that I use quite a lot of papers. That one with all the paint on, that's the blues. There's a girly version and a boy version, I guess, and I used a lot of that paper to mount the different hexagons, because a lot of my hexagons were too big to use the journaling cards, because the journaling cards are obviously only 3x4. There are some bigger ones, but they didn't work in terms of a solid amount of colour or a pattern to go. They have other like icons on and things, so they didn't work for backfilling. I really love the way my hexagon cut file looks now. It's all completely backfilled with different colours. I love the colour scheme of this month's kit. I have two boys. I have a girl too, but I have two boys, and I tend to take lots of photos of my little one who's just turned 2. I have loads and loads of boy photos, so I really love this kit. This is ideal for me. So I thought I would put some mixed media behind my cut file, so you can see that I roughly drew around it with a pencil, just so that I didn't put too much mixed media in the wrong place. I also tested a bit of the ink before I used it around the edges, so you can see that I did it under the big hexagon there, and that was just like a tester to see if it would show. So I've used the two of the ink pads that we got in this month's colour kit. So I got the they're the Prima Colour Philosophy ones, and they're the magnetic stackable ones. They're really cool. I've used the two. There's a red one, but I haven't used that, so I've used the other two, so Soft Lilac and Hydrangea Petals. And then I wanted to add some fabulous white paint splatters in acrylic paint over my background too. Sorry about the bunny that's just appeared on my desk. That's a child. That's the 2-year-old. Just come along and put my daughter's bunny on my table, as you do. And there's a car there in the bottom left as well. So, you know, little hands constantly sitting around here while I'm scrapbooking. So So yeah, every so often you'll see a head or an arm or something appear in my videos, so sorry about that. There he is. So anyway, yeah, I also added some white paint splatters. I just used some white acrylic paint in a shaker, and then some of the colour bled into the other colours, which gave a kind of cool effect, and then I had some regular splatters too. And I also, off camera, because I had my little one around who was causing some issues, so I turned off the camera and then used the Nuvo drops that are in the main kit. They are lovely. I really love this colour. It's called Midnight Blue, so it's ideal like dark navy. It looks a lighter blue in the bottle, but once it's blobbed on and dries, it's definitely a dark navy, almost black really. It's very cool. I love how it looks. So I just dotted a few of those around the edges of my layout, around the edges of my hexagon cut file. And I love the way that it looks. I had all the splatters going on, and these dots were just just an ideal extra thing to add, so they went really, really well. Okay, so my mixed media is dry, my cut file is stuck down, I raised it up on foam pads. I've trimmed my cardstock because I want to show some of this white and very dark navy stripe in the background. I also fussy cut some of the hexagons from the hexagon paper, and I have stuck those on too. I've layered them over the top of my existing hexagons, so I've gone hexagon crazy on this layout. So I have layered those up. I've layered them with foam pads, so I've got lots of dimension. I also distressed the edges of everything too. Oh, sorry about this. If when your tape gun runs out, it's like the noise of doom when you hear it break, and it's like, oh no, I've got to refill my tape gun. And I literally just turned the camera back on, so I did it on screen. So sorry that you had to watch me do that. I normally turn off while I do that, but I was like, oh, I literally just sat down. But anyway, I'm pretty quick these days, so it's fine. Anyway, yeah, so I'm just getting my background stuck to the white and navy stripes. I've also just added some stitching, so I added a straight stitch down each side and some zigzag stitches as well, just to give a bit of extra interest to those edges. And I roughed up the edges of both of the sides of the lilac cardstock and put a little like extra dip out of the top left side too. And I'm really happy with how that looks. I really wanted some of that navy and white pattern to show. I just love it. So I wanted that to show up, so I'm glad that I managed to get that in while still having a cardstock background, which is not something I usually do, only white. So a coloured cardstock background, it looks really good. I'm so happy with this layout. It's really a bit different for me. Yeah, it was great fun to do. Okay, so now I'm just going through all of the fabulous exclusive ephemera that we have in the August kits, and I've pulled out a few bits that work. I'm really looking at colour because there's some fabulous yellow in this kit, but it just didn't go with this layout, so I just needed to make sure that the colours I pulled out went with the colours I've already got in my layout. I didn't want to overwhelm it with more colours. I've already got navy orange, pink, purple, kind of like a turquoisey green and a light blue, so I already had loads going on, so I just needed to make sure I didn't add too many more colours at the risk of throwing off the balance of the layout. So I really did check out the colours when I was going through the ephemera and working out what I wanted to use, and I also wanted to use phrases and things that went well with my photo. It's just my two boys at the park. They've both got hats on backwards, both thinking they look really cool, sitting on a bench in the park. So that was cool. That was one of our first trips to the park after lockdown finished, but unfortunately when we got there, the playground was not open, so we just walked around the field for half an hour, but we were just happy to be out and about and moving around. So yeah, anyway, I have added a title. That's from the exclusive chipboard die cuts. It says Good Vibes, and it's at the bottom right of my photo. Above that I've added a chipboard star. I've also got a puffy pink cat wearing sunglasses, because my my big boy has shades on, so that looks good. I've added the word awesome as well, and at the top I've added the word wow. And then I've added 3 other words to the layout as well, all 3 of them from the chipboard exclusive stickers that say chaos, fun and epic, all of which sum up every time we go out with my boys. Chaos being the main one. So yeah, just carrying on now, seeing what else I can add. This layout is pretty busy, so I don't want to add too much. I need to stop at some point, but I didn't feel like I had enough on there, but then I was aware that, as in embellishments, but I was aware that the layout itself is extremely busy because of all the patterns in the background. So I just needed to rein myself in and make sure that I didn't overdo things. So I've just added a small camera to the bottom left corner, as well as a couple of flowers. Now I have no issue with adding flowers to boys' layouts. You know, we're out in the park, there were flowers around, we're out in nature, all good. I probably wouldn't make an entirely floral bouquet layout just for my boys, but certainly adding flowers to layouts about boys is no issue for me. I'm now just going through and adding some stickers from the Simple Stories Going Places sticker book. It has a few pages of phrase stickers. Now lots of them are travel related, but lots of them aren't. So I've added a few. I've got a great adventure, field notes, fun times, let's escape, enjoy, ready, set, go. So all of those are pretty generic. You could definitely apply them to travel layouts, but they also work just as well for regular ones. So this is definitely not about traveling. It's just, it did feel like where let's escape was, that did feel quite apt, because we had just escaped our house in order to get out and go to the park, so that was good. Okay, so just writing my journaling into a fairly plain hexagon at the top, just using a fine tip pen, and that is me done. I think completely finished there. I really do love how this one ended up. It's great colours. I love the colours so much. It's a real boyish type layout, so really fun to do. I really enjoyed it. Okay, so don't forget that if you are a Hip Kit Club subscriber, you get the main kit at a reduced price. You get 15% discount off all add-on kits, and you get access to exclusive subscriber cut files like the one I used today. So thank you so very much for joining me. That was Niki Rowland for Hip Kit Club.